On our wedding anniversary, my wife said she forgot and went on a trip with her male best friend. Instead of feeling sad, I sent a huge bouquet of white lilies to their hotel room, with a note, "With deepest sympathy for your loss." What happened next left her completely speechless. On the morning of our 5th wedding anniversary, I was sitting at the dining table, a small velvet box in front of me. Inside was the pearl bracelet Sophia had been hinting at for months. I wasn't excited. I wasn't surprised. It just felt flat. I heard wheels on the stairs, and sure enough, Sophia came down with a suitcase. No flowers, no happy anniversary, nothing. She gave me this forced, awkward smile. "Daniel, I'm so sorry. My friends booked a last-minute island trip. It all happened so fast, I completely forgot today was our anniversary." I just looked at her. It felt predictable. Nothing she said surprised me. I closed the bracelet box and nodded slowly. "It's fine, go. A beach trip sounds nice." She seemed relieved, too relieved, and walked out the door without looking back. Once the door closed behind her, I grabbed my phone and checked the tracking app I'd put on her car a while back. It wasn't because I wanted to control her. It was because I used to get nervous when she'd go on long trips alone. The tracker showed she was heading toward the pier. I checked the tracker. It wasn't a trip with friends, and it wasn't a coincidence that she forgot our anniversary. The tracker made it clear she was meeting Alex, her best friend. That morning just confirmed what I already suspected. I'm Daniel, 34, an architect. I just notice small things. I'm not paranoid and I'm not the jealous type, but I'm also not stupid. I usually trust people. Sophia liked that at first. When we got married, she traveled a lot for her job. Long drives, late-night returns, weekend trips with her colleagues. I installed a tracker on her car because she once had a minor accident coming home at 1 a.m., and it scared the hell out of me. She knew about the app back then. Over time, she seemed to forget it even existed. I didn't bring it up. Then came Alex, the best friend. That's how she always introduced him. "Daniel, don't be unreasonable. We're just close friends. He understands me in ways only old friends do." I tried being polite. I really did. But Alex always acted like I was the outsider in my own marriage. He never made eye contact, always gave short answers, and sometimes even smirked when Sophia talked over me to answer a question I hadn't finished. I kept telling myself I was overthinking. That lasted until a month ago. A mutual friend sent me a photo. Sophia and Alex having dinner, sitting way too close, laughing like they were on a date. "They're probably just catching up," the friend said. "Yeah, sure." Then I saw the message on her iPad, completely by accident. A notification popped up while I was moving it off the couch. "Can't wait to see you at the beach. I booked the room. Meet me at the pier." No name, but I didn't need one. I didn't confront her. I wanted to see what she would choose on our anniversary. I even bought the expensive pearl bracelet she'd been eyeing for months, just to see if it mattered to her, even a little. Spoiler, it didn't. She didn't hesitate for a second that morning. She didn't even glance at the dining table. No curiosity, no guilt, no anything. She walked out like it was nothing. That told me everything. I wasn't emotional about it. It just confirmed what I already knew. So I sat there watching the little red dot on the tracker move straight toward the pier. She wasn't meeting friends or going on any random trip. She was going exactly where her messages told me she would be. For once, nothing was confusing anymore. She chose what she wanted, so I acted based on that. Tracking the little red dot was almost boring because everything happened exactly the way I expected. She drove straight to the pier, parked, and the signal stopped moving once she boarded the ferry. After that, the app couldn't track her on water, but I didn't need it. I already knew where she was going, who she was meeting, and for how long. While she was on her getaway, I called a florist downtown. They handled deliveries to resorts all the time. I asked if they could get it to the island quickly. The florist asked, "What flowers, sir?" I chose white lilies because Sophia hated them. She once told me, "Lilies look like funeral flowers. They make me uncomfortable." Perfect. Send a large bouquet of white lilies, I said, and include a card. What would you like it to say? I kept it simple. "With deepest sympathy for your loss." No signature, no name, just that. I didn't need to explain the meaning. Sophia would understand instantly, Alex too. While the order was being prepared, I could already picture it. She'd see the lilies she hates freak out, and he'd get mad when he read the card and realized it was from me. An hour later, my phone rang. It wasn't Sophia's name on the screen. It was Alex. His name popped up on my screen and I actually laughed. I picked up. Alex didn't say a word before he started yelling. "What the hell is wrong with you? You think this is funny? Sending funeral flowers to our room? Our room. Not her room." He didn't even hesitate before saying it. I just said, "I sent what I thought was appropriate." "What does that mean?" "It means," I said, calm as ever, "I'm offering my condolences. She just lost something important." "What? Lost what?" "Her husband." There was a pause while he processed that I knew. Then he tried to recover with anger. "You're sick. You're actually insane." "Alex," I said, still calm, "you're the one sleeping with another man's wife on their anniversary. Let's not talk about who's insane." I could hear people talking in the background, probably hotel staff or nearby guests. Sophia hated scenes, and I knew she'd be trying to hide, crying quietly, or frozen in shock, while Alex lost his temper. That's the part I didn't need to witness. Knowing it was happening was enough. He lowered his voice, trying to sound threatening. "You think this changes anything? She's with me." I almost thanked him for the entertainment. "Great," I said. "Then you can stay with her. Good luck explaining that to your girlfriend." The silence after that one was longer. He forgot I knew about her too. I didn't shout. I didn't insult him. I didn't accuse him of anything. Me staying calm probably annoyed him even more. He finally hung up on me. She didn't text or call me. That said everything I needed to know. A few hours later, the tracker dot moved again, this time back toward the mainland. She came home earlier than planned. She must have spent the ferry ride rehearsing excuses. When she finally came through the door that night, she looked exhausted. No makeup, hair a mess, eyes red and swollen. She could barely look me in the eye. "Daniel, please, it wasn't like that." I didn't respond. She tried again, her voice shaking. "It just happened. I didn't plan anything, I swear." Still nothing from me. Then she said the classic line every guilty person thinks will fix everything. "It was just a mistake." I finally looked at her. "You were gone for 2 days." She didn't answer. I didn't want to hear excuses. I picked up a folder from the table and placed it in front of her. It was the divorce papers. She broke down, begging me to reconsider, talking about counseling, saying it was all a mistake. I let her talk until she had nothing left to say. When she finally stopped, I said, "Pack your things." She stared at me, shaking. "Daniel, please." "Pack your things." After she left, things played out on their own. And the two of them. They didn't last even a week after that trip. Stuff like that never lasts once reality shows up. Meanwhile, I slept better than I had in months. The card said, "Sympathy for your loss," but the truth was simple. I didn't lose anything. She did. Sophia stayed with her sister for 2 days after I told her to pack her things. I didn't block her, but I didn't reach out either. I wasn't about to listen to more of the same excuses. I thought that would be the end of it, but with Sophia, things always dragged on. On the 3rd night, she knocked on the door again. It wasn't a gentle knock. It was frantic, almost as if she'd already rehearsed every apology, but none of them worked. I opened the door slightly. She looked awful, face puffy from crying, eyes still red as if she hadn't slept at all. "Daniel, can we talk, please?" I stepped aside, not because I wanted to talk, but because I had nothing to hide. She sat on the couch looking really nervous. "I made a mistake," she said, barely whispering. "I don't even know how it happened, Alex and I. It wasn't serious, it was stupid. I don't know why I agreed to the trip." I stayed silent. She wiped her face, looking away. "I thought maybe you didn't care anymore." I let out a small, disbelieving laugh. "Right," I said. "I showed I didn't care by buying you a bracelet for our anniversary. That makes perfect sense." She looked down, embarrassed. Then came the usual apology speech, the one everyone who's cheated gives. "I'm willing to fight for this marriage. I'll cut him off. We can do therapy. I'll do anything you want." I let her get through the whole thing. When she stopped, I slid the divorce papers across the table to her again. "Sophia, this is already done." She stared at the papers like she'd never seen them before, even though she had cried over them just a few days ago. "I can't lose you," she said, voice breaking. "I swear I'll change." I shook my head. "You didn't lose me because of a mistake. You lost me because of your choices." Repeated choices. She stayed quiet. You didn't mess up once. You planned a trip, booked a room, lied for weeks, and then left me on our anniversary without a second thought. You weren't confused. You were comfortable. She didn't say anything else. She broke down again, sobbing. But none of it made me feel anything, not anger, not guilt, not sadness, just done. After a few minutes, she stood up, tears still streaming down her face. Can I at least stay here tonight? I have nowhere else to go. No, I said, not out of anger, just coldly. This isn't your home anymore. She froze at that. Then she nodded, like she finally understood. She left quietly, and when the door closed behind her, everything was just quiet. After that, things went the way you'd expect. Her parents called me to apologize on her behalf. Her brother asked if I wanted him to talk to Alex. I said no, not my problem. Her cousins, who adored her, suddenly avoided her. Her friends stopped inviting her places because they didn't want the drama. Sophia went from perfect wife to the one who blew up her marriage for a beach trip with an ex overnight. I didn't tell anyone anything. The story spread because she'd been bragging about the trip, and people connected the dots. As for Alex, he got dumped by his girlfriend the day after she saw the Bouquet photo. Apparently, the hotel staff had already heard the drama and talked about it. The place is small, so people heard about it fast. Sophia texted me once more about 2 weeks later. I'm really sorry. I hope someday you can forgive me. I didn't reply, not out of spite, just because there was nothing left to talk about. She made her choices. I made mine. And for the first time in years, the silence felt peaceful. Life after the divorce was quieter than I expected. Not sad, just quiet. I went back to my routines, my projects, my gym schedule, the small things I hadn't had space for when I was constantly trying to guess where my wife really was. I didn't jump into dating. I didn't stalk Sophia online. I just lived normally again, and that was enough. Almost a year later, I met someone new at a design workshop. Her name was Emily, a landscape architect. We ended up working on the same mock project, and she was easy to talk to. Nothing weird or complicated. We started grabbing coffee after sessions, then lunch, then weekend hikes. There was no rush, no labels, no pressure. It just grew naturally. On a beach trip with her a few months later, a simple, no-drama weekend getaway, I packed the velvet box I had once set aside on my anniversary. Not because I wanted to replace anything. I just didn't want the bracelet sitting in a drawer collecting dust, tied to the wrong memory. One evening, while we were sitting on the sand watching the tide, I took the box out. Emily looked at it like she wasn't sure if I was proposing or handing her a puzzle. It's not what you think, I said. She laughed, relieved. I opened it. This was meant for someone else, I told her honestly, but it never got to be a gift. I didn't want to keep it as something left over from my marriage. She didn't gasp or cry. She just nodded like she understood. Are you sure? She asked. Yeah, I said. It feels right. She put it on immediately. Not out of excitement, but out of appreciation. And that was the difference. With Sophia, everything felt like a performance. The right photos, the right angles, the right captions. With Emily, things were simple. If she liked something, she showed it. If she didn't, she said it. No hidden messages, no guilt-tripping, no secret trips disguised as friend outings. Later that night, we walked along the shore. It was calm and simple, just a quiet moment with someone who didn't make life harder. I don't usually pull a lesson out of everything, but I did learn one thing. If one person stops respecting the relationship, the other can't save it alone. Ending my marriage wasn't some big tragedy. It was just me leaving a situation that didn't work anymore. Giving that bracelet to someone else was just a way to finish that chapter and move on. In the end, I just went back to a normal life, and that was it.